Today on the Inside Edge, we are pleased to be joined by Meghan Chayka. Finally, some intelligence in this conversation. It's been lacking when I've been doing it by myself. So happy to have you join us. TSN viewers, of course, see you all the time, dropping your knowledge on all the different platforms. Today, we're going to talk about a Toronto Maple Leaf player having a good year, due for a big raise coming up after next season. And no, it's not Auston Matthews. It's William Nylander who's having a great time to have a fantastic season. 1 goal, 4 points away from establishing career highs. On pace for 42 goals, 97 points this year. Meghan, he's always been a bit of a darling of the analytics community. What is he doing so well this year that's allowed him to take his game to another level?
Mike, he's always been great at skating and zone entries, but this year he's been incredibly direct and dangerous. He's 4th in shot attempts off the rush, 1.88 per game. He's tied with Timo Meier. He was 48th last season. Huge jump. You can look at the progression in this graph. 72.6% of his carried zone entries lead to shot attempts, 6th highest in the NHL. And he's not only getting the volume, the biggest point is the quality of his shots. Top 5 quality shots from his zone entries. When he's carrying it into the zone, he's creating for teammates. And if you're playing his teammates, he can take shots too. 8th in expected goals off the rush. So he's cost controlled at under $7 million cap hit next season and currently tied with Jack Hughes in points. Incredibly great season, and I think, Nylander is going to command a lot in the future.
Yeah, you mentioned cost control, but not for long because his contract is up. And you start thinking about what are the Maple Leafs going to do? They have Auston Matthews, but they also have William Nylander to sign. And you look at the highest paid wingers, David Pastrnak probably establishes a ceiling for any winger with the contract that he just signed. William Nylander has not been as good as him or as consistent in their careers. But you look at some of the other guys, Mitch Marner probably also would slot in ahead of William Nylander. But I look at the wingers that have signed in that 9.5 to 10 range. Matthew Tkachuk, 9.5. Mark Stone, 9.5. Johnny Gaudreau, 9.75. If William Nylander continues the rest of this year the way he is and plays again next year like this, he would have a very strong case that he would slot right in with those guys. And maybe at the higher end, when you factor in the cap going up and some inflation for a long-term contract. And I would expect William Nylander, who is a principled, stubborn negotiator, runs in the family, we've seen this before out of him, to command and likely earn a contract between $9.5 and $10 million a year from Toronto or someone else, because someone else will be willing to pay him because he's that talented, Meghan.
And when you look at that underlying analytics, they support that as well. So I think it's a tough point in the hard cap era where you have to make hard decisions on valuations of players. Top 15 points in the league is going to go in that range. So that's just where he is right now with his play. And I think that will continue, looking at those analytics being very good this year.
It's a good problem to have here in Toronto. Good players playing exceptionally well. William Nylander will like to continue his good year against the Edmonton Oilers this weekend. And if he plays well in the playoffs, he plays well in the regular season, Leafs manager will be happy, William Nylander will be happy, and he's going to cost an awful lot of money. Thank you, Meghan.